local powerlifting competition, a black competitor was told she could not compete because of her beads. This is apparently her teammates who rush to her defense and try to take them out as quickly as they can. Unfortunately, this continues happening in sports. Recall Andrew Johnson, the wrestler from New Jersey who was forced by a racist referee named Alan Maloney to get a haircut in order to compete.
On one side, you have a white ref with a documented history of using a racial slur. And on the other side, a 17-year-old African-American student who has competed in more than 20 matches this year alone with no issues, but this time he was given an ultimatum: cut the hair or take the loss.
The incident raising questions over whether this humiliating act was motivated by race.
16-year-old Nicole Piles says her hair was braided with beads and tied in a bun like she'd worn it in previous games when an umpire told her she had to either remove the beads or sit the game out.
You see, they're not isolated incidents.
16-year-old Nicole Piles, who had already stepped up to the plate and hit a double, faced ejection by the umpires in her second at bat unless she removed her hair beads.
Actually, I had the braids in for 4 games prior. That was the 5th game. But on that day, April 19th, I did play a full inning. I had hit a double because I'm top of the lineup. We were leading at the time when they had brought it up at the top of the 2nd, saying my beads were issued. So my team had took some of the bands I had on my ponytail, right around the bottom, and stuffed them into my sports bra. Then I went out to go play and got our 3 outs, and then I came back in to hit again. Then this is when they say, well, the beads are a safety issue, it's a rule, so I had to take them out. So they said either you take them out or you sit out. And so I made this decision that I was going to remove my beads and I was going to play my game.
This softball player in North Carolina felt what the power lifter and Johnson also felt.
What?
Kneel in what you said.
Okay, I think we past kneeling.
Hove and the Shield donated big to 2 groups, one of which is the following.
The controversy over Jay-Z and Roc Nation's deal with the NFL continues. The Crushers Club is one of 2 groups working with at-risk children in Chicago that received part of $400,000 in donations from Roc Nation and the NFL as part of their previously announced Inspire Change initiative. But the organization came under scrutiny recently when on social media posts like this showed up. This is Crushers Club's president, Sally Hazelgrove, cutting a young man's dreads off. They are also known for encouraging the phrase, "All Lives Matter."
This is the same woman who liked Candace Owens' tweets, claims the idiotic phrasing of, "I don't see color." She favorited Blue Lives Matter rhetoric, believes Donald Trump is the most pro-black president ever, cut off all funds for illegals was yet another in a long line of hate speech by her that she really appreciates. She liked Charlie Kirk's tweets saying the MAGA Covington Catholic kids were, in his words, publicly lynched, and thinks we as Americans should build the wall. And of course, who could forget this guy, Jim Boone, a college basketball coach, who said this to a player of his.
You had talked about my hair like you're not liking it, and like you not like want to recruit nobody with locks like mine.
No, it's not that we don't recruit them, but we make it very clear that once they get in here, they're not going to have their hair that way. I told you, though, because you were here before me, and I didn't think it was fair for me to tell you that you needed to cut your hair, and that I was going to let you have it.
Yeah, but that's kind of like basically saying like you're not going to bring nobody in with hair like mine.
Probably not.
That's kind of like just supporting my cultural, like, dreadlocks.
Well, it's not meant to be that way. It's not about race. It's about hair.
That's
See,
cultural.
No, it's even about cultural. It's about my program.
Boone, by the way, still a head coach. To go back to that power lifter for a second, though, my coworker and co-host John Idarola put this rather well. Will the newfound defenders of women's sports help defend them from rampant discrimination based on their hair? Obviously, it's tongue-in-cheek. Danielle Douglas Gabriel, business reporter for the Washington Post, wrote, "Few things in African-American culture are more politicized than hair. Much of this is rooted in the outsider status of our hair in a society that deems European standards of beauty inherently more valuable than any others." Via The Guardian, braiding up your child's hair and dotting the ends with beads might be an extreme style in the eyes of some schools, but we can't ignore the fact that society's idea of what is extreme is rooted in a white norm. Black hairstyles have extensive cultural histories, and black women have been rocking them from as early as 3000 BC. Again, nothing new. Just as there are plenty of origin stories for dreadlocks, there are many preferred spellings, dreads, locks, or locks, all fraught with political meaning. I've always called them locks because I was told there is nothing dreadful about my hair. Douglas wrote once more. That may seem like semantics, but given the visceral reaction the style used to elicit, changing the spelling is a way to take pride in it. Bert Ash, an associate professor at the University of Richmond, calls the changing terminology a creative, improvisational response to the call of American white supremacy, a kind of coping mechanism. To be clear, white supremacy in this context is as much about the dominant culture's implicit or explicit insistence of superiority as it is about everyone else accepting that message.
Our hair generally grows upward and is tightly coiled, like this and like this. So what does our world tell us about Afro hair?
Black students at the prestigious Pretoria High School for Girls protested a clause that banned wide cornrows, braids, and dreadlocks.
Mainstream beauty doesn't have black women in mind. Instead, black women with Afro hair are expected to conform to an aesthetic that values straight hair. That desire for straight hair is a construct that started during colonization. From weaves to extensions, jerry curls, curly perms, straight perms, and straighteners, my hair was hidden. It was misunderstood, it was damaged, it was broken, and it was completely unloved. That's not surprising. I never saw anybody with hair like mine. Afro-textured hair was, and in many places is, stigmatized to the point of taboo.